as families and friends and plenty of others watched from the grandstand. The shuttle launches had become so routine by January of '86 that only one network carried it live for the country to watch. That is until some 70 seconds of the flight.
Challenger, go and throttle up.
Year-long investigations that followed would conclude cold weather caused parts of the shuttle to break apart, causing the explosion and the nation to stop and shock.
Listen, Colton.
The Challenger 7
I don't think you think that was.
service Thursday at 8 a.m. Ronald E. McNair. Mercury B. Church. It included a special tribute to Challenger's most famous astronaut, who was supposed to be the first teacher in space, Krista McCall.
At a time when many people would think only of the impending launch, Krista was taking care of a teacher's business.
There was even a tribute from those on NASA's latest mission, the crew on the International Space Station.
I'd like to just take a moment of silence and recognize the sacrifice of all those crew members and how their spirit and their legacy lives on in their achievement in space.
Achievements that followed the tragedy of 30 years ago today. Chris Blackham, NBC News.
As many Americans watched the Challenger tragedy unfold on television, one former Kentucky school teacher watched the chaos unfold in person. LAX 18's Joe Ducey has her story.
4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
We just didn't know what had happened.
Sue Darnell Ellis watched in horror as the doomed Challenger spaceship broke apart miles above the Cape Canaveral launch site 30 years ago today.
A plume of smoke, and the two solid rocket boosters fell off to the sides.
The shuttle was carrying 6 astronauts and 1 school teacher, Krista McCall, who is set to be the first civilian in space.
We were watching for parachutes. We were watching to see if somebody might have escaped.
McAuliffe was selected from 11,000 applicants for a spot on the Challenger crew through the Teacher in Space program. Ellis was a math and science teacher at Marshall County. She was one of 2 finalists from Kentucky who were almost selected to be part of the Challenger's crew.
Our expectations were grand for Krista to go into space and to teach lessons to students and to motivate students in math and science.
Ellis would eventually go on to work for NASA. She says though the crew of the Challenger tragically lost their lives, their work will always live on, and she's made a part of her life's work to make sure their heroic legacy will never be forgotten.
To make sure that the loss of life would project us forward.
Covering the news in Anderson County, Joe Ducey, LAX 18 News.
Anderson County.
Yesterday on LAX 18 News
You don't
at
live in
5, we
Anderson
brought you the
County.
story of
Well,
Alexis
you do a lot.
and the little ride that she made after shook the country. You'll hear from a former Kentucky teacher who witnessed the tragedy firsthand.
Welcome back to LAX 18 News at 4:30. Today marks 30 years since the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded during launch. Nancy Cox joins us from the LAX 18 newsroom with a look at what's in the works.
Can't forget where you were that day, one of those events. A Kentucky teacher who was a candidate to be one of the crew members on that doomed mission talks about what she felt when the shuttle blew apart as the world watched. Hear from her at 5. Then at 6, an animal shelter had a dog that